Hey there. So you're gearing up for the civil service exam? Perfect. You have come to the right place. We're going to treat this as your own personal masterclass. Our goal, to totally demystify this thing and get your confidence soaring. Yeah, I totally get it. You see that date circled on the calendar, and it can feel like a lot, right? I mean, this is a huge step toward a career in public service, and that pressure, it's real. But guess what? It's also something we can absolutely handle. And how are we going to handle it? With a rock-solid game plan. Forget the anxiety. Today, we're building a practical strategy that's going to take you all the way from filling out the application to walking in on your first day. All right, you ready? Let's jump in. Okay, so here's our roadmap. First, we'll demystify the exam. Then, we'll hit the big sections, language, logic, and those tricky spatial puzzles. And we'll wrap it all up with a winning strategy that even covers what happens after the test. Let's go. All right, Section 1, demystifying the exam. So what is this thing really all about? Before you even open a practice test, the first thing you need to look at is the job announcement. Seriously, that document is your secret weapon. It's basically a cheat sheet. It tells you exactly what the agency is looking for, those core competencies. The whole exam is just built to find people who have those specific skills. It's all about creating a level playing field. So what are they actually testing? Look, this is way more than a pop quiz on facts you've memorized. It's really about how you perform when the clock is ticking. You'll see things here like speed and accuracy, but it all connects back to those core competencies we just talked about. Your ability to think on your feet and solve problems, that's what they're looking for, because that's what you'll be doing from day one on the job. Okay, next up, let's talk about mastering the language sections. I mean, think about it. Strong communication is just non-negotiable in public service, right? So this part of the exam is all about checking two things: how well you understand information and how clearly you can express your own ideas. First up in the language section is reading comprehension. And this is not about remembering tiny little details from a passage. It's about being a detective. Can you read something and quickly figure out what's the main point here? Can you spot the crucial details? And, maybe most importantly, can you read between the lines and understand what's being implied, even if it's not spelled out? Want to know a pro tip for crushing these passages? It's a simple 3-step approach. Step 1, scan the questions first. Don't even touch the passage yet. This totally primes your brain for what to look for. Then step 2, as you read the passage, you're not just reading, you're hunting for keywords. And pay super close attention to those little qualifier words like always or never, and relationship words like because or despite. Seriously, those words are often the key that unlocks the right answer in step 3. All right, so you've proved you can understand what you read. Now it's time to show you can communicate your own thoughts clearly. And that brings us to written expression. This part of the test really gets down to the fundamentals, the nuts and bolts of good writing. They're looking at your grammar, your punctuation, how you put a sentence together. But the big one, it's all about clarity. Can you take a complex idea and write about it so there's absolutely no confusion? That's the goal. Okay, let's switch gears a bit and talk about logic and reasoning. Now, these skills, they are really the heart and soul of what you'll be doing day in and day out in a civil service job. You're constantly going to be analyzing situations and having to make smart, sound decisions. So this section really breaks down into 2 key skills. First, you've got problem sensitivity. Think of this like your early warning radar. It's about spotting trouble on the horizon before it turns into a full-blown crisis. Then, you've got numerical reasoning. That's your toolkit. It's where you use numbers and data to actually build the solution. You can't have one without the other. You absolutely need both. And this right here, this quote says it all. The key is not just finding an answer, but understanding the question. It's so true for both of these skills. Before you start crunching numbers or brainstorming solutions, you have to stop and make sure you really get what the problem is. If you rush that first step, you're almost guaranteed to end up in the wrong place. Okay, now for a section that can feel a little weird for some people, spatial puzzles. And look, don't panic. This has nothing to do with being a great artist. It's all about how well you can picture things in your mind and then mentally twist them and turn them around. Things like rotating a shape, counting hidden blocks in a stack, or figuring out what a folded up piece of paper will look like. Let's actually try a quick one together, right now. In your head, just picture a big, blocky capital letter L. Got a clear image of it? Okay, perfect. Now hold that L in your mind, and I want you to mentally rotate it 1/4 turn to the right. That's 90 degrees clockwise. What do you see now? See? That whole process you just did, picturing the shape, rotating it, and seeing the result, that's it. That's the skill. The exam questions are just like that. They'll show you a shape and then ask you to pick out which option shows it correctly rotated or folded. All right, we've gone through all the different pieces of the exam. Now it's time to put it all together into your winning strategy. And this isn't just about test day. We're going to talk about what happens after you hand in that test too. Okay, test day. This right here is your blueprint for success. You got to read every instruction, manage that clock, and if you're stuck, eliminate the obviously wrong answers and move on. Don't let one question sink you. But here's the thing, your strategy has to go beyond that. Because after the exam, your score puts you on an eligibility list. And this is key. Hiring managers often use something called the rule of three. That means they get to interview the top 3 available candidates. So your goal isn't just to pass. Your goal is to score high enough to be one of those top 3. And really, it all comes down to this. Confidence isn't something you just hope for. It's something you build. The feeling you'll have walking into that exam room, that's a direct result of the hard work and smart preparation you put in beforehand. It's the confidence that comes from knowing you don't just have a plan for the test questions, you have a plan for the whole entire process. So there you go. You get the content, you've got the strategies, you know the process from start to finish. You literally have the blueprint in your hands. The only question left is, are you ready to start building? Because you can absolutely do this.